There comes a time in life when you have to stop looking around for validation, for approval, for someone else to tell you that you are enough. Because the truth is you are enough, but you will never realize your full potential if you keep surrounding yourself with people who drain your energy, who doubt your dreams, and who hold you back from becoming who you are meant to be. Some people are not meant to be part of your journey forever. Some are only lessons sent to teach you something about yourself. And if you don't learn the lesson, you'll keep repeating the same cycle, allowing the wrong people to stay in your life, to take up space in your mind, and to shape your destiny in ways that do not serve you. Your time and energy are two of the most valuable resources you have. Unlike money, which can be earned again, time is something you can never get back once it is spent. Energy, too, is not limitless. It must be carefully managed and protected. The way you choose to spend these resources will ultimately shape the quality of your life, your success, and your happiness. Unfortunately, many people unknowingly waste their time and energy on the wrong things and, more important, the wrong people. There are individuals who bring value to your life, push you toward growth, and encourage you to become the best version of yourself. These are the people worth investing in. But then there are those who do the opposite. They drain your energy, distract you from your goals, and add negativity to your life. These people come in many forms: friends who constantly complain but never take action to improve their situations, family members who criticize your dreams and make you feel small, colleagues who gossip and create drama, or even acquaintances who always seem to need something from you but are never there when you need support. The truth is, every interaction you have either adds to or takes away from your energy. I think about the conversations you have daily. Some leave you feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on the world, while others leave you feeling exhausted, frustrated, or even questioning yourself. That exhaustion is not just in your mind, it is real. The more time you spend with people who drain you, the less energy you have for yourself, your goals, and the things that truly matter. Over time, this takes a toll on your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. One of the biggest mistakes people make is feeling obligated to maintain relationships that no longer serve them. They hold on to friendships out of history, fearing that letting go would make them look disloyal. They tolerate negativity from family members because they feel guilty about setting boundaries. They engage in meaningless conversations and entertain toxic behavior because they do not want to seem rude or selfish. But what they fail to realize is that every second spent on the wrong people is a second taken away from the right people. Every ounce of energy wasted on negativity is energy that could have been used to build something meaningful, to work toward a dream, or to simply find peace within themselves. Your time and energy are meant to be used for things that bring you closer to your purpose. When you allow yourself to be consumed by other people's negativity, drama, or lack of ambition, you begin to lose focus. Instead of moving forward, you get stuck in their problems, their complaints, and their penser. You start living according to their standards instead of your own. And the worst part, most of these people will never change. No matter how much advice you give, how much you try to help, or how much of yourself you give away, they will remain the same. And while they stay the same, you suffer the consequences of their actions. Successful people understand this. They do not waste their energy trying to fix people who do not want to be fixed. They do not spend their time in places that do not add value to their lives. They choose their company wisely because they know that who they surround themselves with directly affects their mindset, their motivation, and their future. They do not entertain distractions because they understand that time is the one thing they can never get back. It is time to take control of your time and energy. Start being mindful of where and with whom you spend it. Pay attention to how you feel after certain interactions. If someone constantly makes you feel drained, uninspired, or unworthy, that is a sign that they do not deserve access to your life. You do not owe anyone your energy, especially if they misuse it. You do not have to justify walking away from people who make you feel less than you are. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. The ones who do not respect them were never meant to stay in your life anyway. Focusing on yourself is often misunderstood as selfishness, but in reality, it is one of the most important things you can do for your personal growth, mental health, and overall well-being. Society conditions people to believe that putting themselves first is wrong, that prioritizing their own needs over others is a sign of arrogance or cold-heartedness. But the truth is, if you don't take care of yourself first, you cannot fully be there for others in a meaningful way. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot help, support, or inspire anyone if you are running on empty, constantly drained, and neglecting your own needs. Many people spend their lives seeking validation from others. They want approval, they want to be liked, and they want to fit in. This often leads them to put other people's needs, opinions, and expectations above their own. They sacrifice their dreams to please their family. They stay in unhealthy relationships because they are afraid of being alone. They tolerate toxic friendships because they don't want to be seen as the bad person for walking away. But in the process of trying to keep everyone else happy, they forget about themselves. They lose sight of their own desires, their own passions, and their own purpose. Focusing on yourself means understanding that your life is your responsibility. No one else is going to build your dreams for you. No one else is going to make you happy. No one else is going to fix your problems or create a life that fulfills you. That is something only you can do. But if you are too busy worrying about what others think, if you are constantly putting their needs ahead of your own, you will never have the time, energy, or clarity to work on yourself. You will always be stuck in a cycle of pleasing others while neglecting the most important person in your life, yourself. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with self-focus is guilt. They feel guilty for saying no, for setting boundaries, for choosing themselves over someone else's expectations. They have been conditioned to believe that self-sacrifice is noble and that prioritizing themselves makes them selfish. But there is a difference between selfishness and self-respect. Being selfish means harming others for your own benefit. Having self-respect means valuing yourself enough to make choices that support your growth and well-being. When you focus on yourself, you are not taking anything away from others. You are simply ensuring that you are strong enough, fulfilled enough, and at peace enough to live a life that is true to you. People who focus on themselves are often the ones who achieve the greatest success, happiness, and fulfillment. They understand that in order to help others, they must first help themselves. They prioritize their mental and physical health, their goals, and their personal growth. They do not allow themselves to be distracted by negativity, unnecessary drama, or people who do not add value to their lives. They know that every second wasted on things that do not serve them is a second taken away from their dreams. Focusing on yourself does not mean isolating yourself from others or ignoring the needs of the people you love. It simply means setting boundaries and making sure that you are not giving so much of yourself that there is nothing left for you. It means making choices that align with your purpose, even if others do not understand them. It means having the courage to walk away from anything or anyone that holds you back. It means trusting that your life is valuable enough to be lived on your own terms, not based on what others expect from you. Too many people live their lives for others, never truly experiencing what it means to live for themselves. They wake up every day doing things they do not love, surrounded by people who do not inspire them, and following routines that bring them no joy. And then they wonder why they feel lost, unfulfilled, and unhappy. The answer is simple. They have spent their entire lives prioritizing everything and everyone except themselves. The moment you decide to focus on yourself, everything changes. You begin to discover what truly makes you happy. You start to set goals that excite you. You find the strength to remove negativity from your life. You become more confident, more self-aware, and more at peace. Because for the first time, you are living for yourself and not for the expectations of others. Bad people will never want you to succeed because your success reminds them of their own failures, fears, and limitations. These individuals may act like they support you, but deep down, they do not want to see you rise above them. They prefer to keep you at their level because your growth threatens their sense of control and security. They will never say it outright, but their actions, words, and energy reveal the truth. They secretly hope you fail because if you succeed, they will have to confront the fact that they never took action to change their own lives. These people come in many forms. Some of them may be friends, family members, or even colleagues. They may disguise their negativity as concern, telling you that they are just looking out for you when they criticize your dreams. They may make sarcastic comments about your ambitions, making you feel like your goals are unrealistic or too big. They may downplay your achievements, refusing to acknowledge your progress or making you feel like it is not a big deal. Instead of celebrating with you, they dismiss your efforts, saying you were just lucky or that it will not last. Then, there are those who try to control you by keeping you in a cycle of self-doubt. They make you question your worth, your abilities, and your decisions. They plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you second-guess your choices. They tell you that your dreams are too risky, that you should be more realistic, and that you should settle for a safer path. But the reality is, they do not want you to take risks because they are too afraid to take them themselves. They do not want you to succeed because it forces them to look at their own lack of progress. Your growth highlights their stagnation, and instead of using it as motivation to improve themselves, they try to pull you back down to their level. Sometimes bad people do not attack you directly. Instead, they manipulate you into believing that you need them. They make you feel guilty for focusing on yourself, accusing you of being selfish or abandoning them when you start setting boundaries. They try to make you feel responsible for their problems, constantly dragging you into their drama and making you feel obligated to help them. But the truth is, they are not looking for help. They are looking for someone to keep them company in their misery. They do not want to change. They just want to make sure you never leave them behind. These individuals also have a way of draining your energy without you even realizing it. They constantly complain, but they never take action to fix their problems. They expect you to listen to their issues. But when you need support, they are nowhere to be found. They bring negativity into your life, always focusing on what is wrong instead of what is possible. The more time you spend around them, the more their mindset starts to affect you. You begin to absorb their doubts, their fears, and their limitations. You start to think smaller, to dream less, to hesitate when you once had confidence. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that bad people will eventually change. They believe that if they just give more, try harder, or be more patient, these individuals will finally start to support them. But that rarely happens. Most of the time, these people will continue to drag you down for as long as you allow them to. They will continue to sabotage your growth, whether consciously or unconsciously, because they do not want to see you become something greater than they are. Successful people understand this. They know that if they want to achieve their dreams, they cannot surround themselves with those who do not believe in them. They recognize that bad people will always try to hold them back, and they make the difficult decision to distance themselves. They understand that not everyone deserves a place in their journey, especially those who do not want to see them succeed. They choose to surround themselves with people who inspire, uplift, and challenge them to be better. Because at the end of the day, your environment shapes your future. And if you keep bad people in your life, they will do everything they can to keep you from reaching your full potential. Negative influences create self-doubt in ways that are often subtle and difficult to recognize at first. When you surround yourself with people who do not believe in you, constantly criticize you, or project their fears onto you, begins to take a toll on your mindset. Their words, opinions, and attitudes seep into your thoughts, making you question your abilities, your worth, and even your dreams. Over time, what once seemed possible starts to feel impossible. The confidence you had in yourself starts to fade, and you begin to hesitate, second-guessing every decision you make. Self-doubt does not appear overnight. It grows slowly, fed by the negativity around you. It starts when someone makes an offhand comment about your goals, saying they are unrealistic or too ambitious. It deepens when a person close to you dismisses your ideas, making you feel like they are not worth pursuing. It strengthens when you hear constant complaints from those around you, reinforcing the belief that life is hard and that success is reserved for a lucky few. The more you are exposed to these influences, the more your mind starts to adopt them as truth. One of the most dangerous aspects of self-doubt is that it makes you hesitant to take action. Instead of pursuing opportunities with confidence, you start to overthink and worry about failure. You play out worst-case scenarios in your mind, convincing yourself that things will go wrong before you even try. You begin to seek validation from others, needing their approval before making a move. But the problem is, the same people who caused your self-doubt are not the ones who will encourage you to overcome it. In fact, they will continue to reinforce it because your hesitation keeps you in a place where they feel comfortable. Negative influences can come from anyone, friends, family, coworkers, or even the media you consume. Some people intentionally discourage you because they do not want to see you grow beyond them. Others do it unintentionally because they themselves are filled with doubt and fear. They project their own insecurities onto you, telling you that your dreams are impossible because they never had the courage to chase their own. Their words are not based on reality, they are based on their own failures and limitations. But if you are not careful, you will start to believe them, allowing their fears to become your own. Self-doubt is paralyzing. It keeps you stuck in the same place, afraid to take risks or make bold moves. It convinces you that you are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to succeed. It makes you settle for less than you deserve, choosing comfort over challenge, safety over growth. And the longer you stay in this mindset, the harder it becomes to break free. The world is full of people who never reach their full potential because they allowed negative influences to shape their beliefs. They listened to the wrong voices, doubted themselves, and gave up before they even had a chance to succeed. Breaking free from self-doubt requires you to change your environment and your mindset. You must recognize the people, situations, and habits that are feeding your doubts and start removing them from your life. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain individuals. If you leave a conversation feeling drained, discouraged, or less confident than before, that is a sign that their influence is not healthy for you. Limit your interactions with those who do not support your growth and seek out people who uplift, encourage, and inspire you. Surround yourself with those who see your potential and push you to become better. You must also reprogram your thoughts. Self-doubt is a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. Start challenging the negative beliefs that have been planted in your mind. When you hear that voice telling you that you are not good enough, ask yourself where it came from. Was it something someone said to you? Was it based on a past failure? Remind yourself that failure does not define you and that growth comes from trying, learning, and improving. Replace doubt with belief, hesitation with action, and fear with courage. Because at the end of the day, the only thing standing between you and success is whether or not you believe you can achieve it. Recognizing toxic individuals is one of the most important steps in protecting your energy, mental well-being, and personal growth. These people often do not reveal their true nature right away, making it difficult to identify their negative impact until you are deeply affected by their presence. They can be disguised as friends, family members, colleagues, or even mentors, people who seem to care about you but subtly undermine your confidence, progress, and happiness. Understanding the signs of toxic individuals is crucial because the longer they remain in your life, the more they can drain you emotionally, mentally, and even physically. Toxic individuals thrive on control, manipulation, and negativity. One of the clearest signs of a toxic person is their constant criticism. They rarely have anything positive to say about you or your achievements. Instead of celebrating your progress, they focus on your flaws, pointing out what you could have done better or why your success is not as impressive as you think. Their words are designed to make you feel inadequate, as if you are never enougher, no matter how much you accomplish. They do this because they feel threatened by your growth and want to keep you from realizing your full potential. Another common trait of toxic people is their ability to manipulate emotions. They know how to make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. They act like victims, making you believe that you are selfish if you do not cater to their needs. They demand your time and attention, and when you try to set boundaries, they accuse you of abandoning them. They use guilt to keep you in their grip, making you feel responsible for their happiness, problems, and even failures. But the truth is, you are not responsible for fixing anyone. You are not obligated to sacrifice your well-being for someone who refuses to take responsibility for their own life. Toxic people also thrive on drama. They create unnecessary conflicts, stir up gossip, and feed on negativity. They always have a problem. And if they do not, they will find one to complain about. They enjoy pulling others into their chaos because it gives them attention and control. They drain your energy with their endless complaints, but never take action to improve their situation. They want sympathy, not solutions. The more time you spend around them, the more their negativity starts to weigh on you, making you feel exhausted and emotionally drained. Jealousy is another strong indicator of a toxic person. Instead of supporting your dreams, they secretly resent them. They may smile in front of you, but deep down, they are hoping you fail. They cannot stand seeing you succeed because it reminds them of their own lack of progress. They compare themselves to you, feeling inferior whenever you achieve something great. Their jealousy may come out in sarcastic comments, passive-aggressive behavior, or even direct sabotage. They may try to belittle your success, saying things like, "You got lucky, it's not a big deal." They do this to make themselves feel better and to keep you from realizing how much you are truly capable of. A toxic person also has a way of making everything about themselves. They rarely listen when you talk, but expect you to be fully present when they need something. They dismiss your feelings, downplay your struggles, and always shift the conversation back to their own problems. They are emotionally draining because they take but never give. When you need support, they are nowhere to be found. When you achieve something, they are either uninterested or secretly bitter. True relationships are built on mutual support, respect, and encouragement, but toxic people only care about their own needs. One of the most subtle yet dangerous aspects of toxic individuals is their ability to plant seeds of self-doubt in your mind. They make you question your worth, your decisions, and even your dreams. They use phrases like, "Are you sure you can handle that?" Or "That sounds risky. Maybe you should reconsider." Over time, their words begin to shape your beliefs. You start hesitating, second-guessing yourself, and playing small because they have convinced you that you are not capable of achieving greatness. Recognizing this behavior is crucial because if you allow their negativity to take root, it can hold you back from reaching your true potential. Learning to identify toxic individuals is not just about cutting them out of your life. It is about protecting your peace, your energy, and your future. It is about realizing that not everyone deserves access to you. It is about understanding that you have the right to remove anyone who drains you, doubts you, or disrespects you. Because at the end of the day, the people you surround yourself with will either push you towards success or pull you away from it. And the choice of who stays in your life is entirely up to you. Removing toxic people from your life is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your growth, happiness, and peace of mind. It is not easy, and it often comes with emotional challenges, but the cost of keeping toxic individuals in your life is far greater than the discomfort of letting them go. Many people hold on to toxic relationships out of fear of loneliness, fear of confrontation, or fear of change. They convince themselves that things will improve, that the toxic person will change, or that they can somehow manage the negativity without being affected by it. But the reality is, toxicity spreads. It affects your thoughts, your emotions, and your ability to move forward. The longer you allow toxic people to remain in your life, the more they drain your energy, manipulate your emotions, and hold you back from becoming the person you are meant to be. One of the first steps in removing toxic people is acknowledging that they will not change unless they choose to. Many people waste years trying to fix relationships with individuals who have no intention of growing, improving, or taking responsibility for their behavior. Toxic people do not see themselves as toxic. They believe they are right, justified, or even victims. They make excuses for their actions, shift blame onto others, and refuse to acknowledge the harm they cause. Waiting for them to change is like waiting for a storm to pass that never ends. You cannot control their behavior, but you can control your response. And sometimes the best response is walking away. Letting go of toxic individuals does not mean you hate them or wish them harm. It simply means you value yourself enough to protect your peace. It means recognizing that no matter how much history you have with someone, it does not justify allowing them to continuously hurt, manipulate, or drain you. You can love someone from a distance, but that does not mean they deserve access to your energy, time, or emotions. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. It is a declaration that you will no longer tolerate anything that disrupts your well-being or hinders your growth. Many toxic people use guilt to keep you trapped in unhealthy relationships. They make you feel like you owe them something: your time, your attention, your loyalty. They remind you of past favors, shared experiences, or their struggles to manipulate you into staying. They play the victim, making you feel like walking away means abandoning them. But the truth is, no one is entitled to a place in your life just because of past history. Relationships should be based on mutual respect, support, and positivity, not obligation and guilt. If someone continuously brings negativity into your life, you have every right to walk away, no matter how long you have known them or what you have been through together. Removing toxic people often means facing difficult conversations and uncomfortable emotions. Some people will react with anger, denial, or attempts to guilt trip you. They may try to convince you that you are making a mistake, that you are being ungrateful, or that you are overreacting. But do not let their words shake your decision. Stand firm in your choice to protect your peace. You do not need their approval to move on. You do not need to explain yourself repeatedly. You do not need to feel guilty for choosing yourself. The people who truly care about you will respect your decision, even if they do not fully understand it. The ones who try to manipulate or control you were never meant to stay in your life. Walking away from toxic people is not just about removing negativity, it is about creating space for better things. When you let go of those who drain you, you make room for those who uplift you. You open the door for positive, supportive, and inspiring individuals who align with your values and encourage your growth. You begin to attract relationships that bring out the best in you rather than those that make you feel small, inadequate, or unworthy. You reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your ability to move forward without unnecessary weight dragging you down. Healing from toxic relationships takes time. Even after removing toxic people, you may still feel their influence lingering in your thoughts and emotions. Doubt, guilt, and second-guessing yourself can arise, but with time, you will realize that choosing yourself was the best decision you could have made. You will feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. You will have more energy to focus on your goals, dreams, and personal growth. And most importantly, you will learn to never again allow toxic individuals to hold power over your happiness, your future, or your sense of self-worth. Prioritizing personal growth is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for yourself. It is the foundation of self-improvement, success, and overall happiness. When you shift your focus from external validation to internal development, you start to see life from a different perspective. You stop worrying about what others think and begin concentrating on who you are becoming. The journey of personal growth is not always easy, but it is necessary if you want to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. The problem is, many people never fully commit to their own growth because they are too distracted by the opinions, expectations, and negativity of others. They allow the presence of toxic people, self-doubt, and fear to slow them down. But real transformation happens when you make yourself the number one priority. Personal growth is about continuously challenging yourself to be better than you were yesterday. It means improving your mindset, your skills, and your emotional intelligence. It requires self-awareness, understanding your strengths, weaknesses, and areas that need development. Growth does not happen by accident. It is a conscious decision you make every single day. It is easy to fall into a routine of comfort, doing the same things over and over again without pushing yourself forward. But comfort zones are where dreams go to die. If you are not actively improving yourself, you are staying the same. And staying the same means falling behind. The world is constantly evolving, and if you are not growing, you are getting left behind. One of the biggest obstacles to personal growth is the fear of failure. Many people do not take risks or challenge themselves because they are afraid of making mistakes. But failure is not the enemy, stagnation is. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. The most successful people in the world have all failed at some point. But what sets them apart is their ability to learn from their mistakes and keep going. If you avoid challenges because you fear failure, you are holding yourself back from reaching your full potential. The key is to reframe your perspective, see failure as a lesson, not as a defeat. Every setback is simply a stepping stone towards success. Another important aspect of personal growth is surrounding yourself with the right people. You cannot grow if you are constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, and toxic energy. The people you spend the most time with have a significant impact on your mindset, your habits, and your motivation. If you are around individuals who lack ambition, complain constantly, and discourage your dreams, their mindset will start to affect you. You might not notice it right away, but over time, their negativity will become your reality. That is why it is crucial to be intentional about who you allow in your life. Seek out people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Surround yourself with those who are committed to growth, success, and positivity. When you do, you will find yourself naturally growing and evolving alongside them. Personal growth also requires self-discipline. It is not enough to simply want to improve, you have to take action. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you do not feel like it. It means staying committed to your goals, whether it is developing a new skill, improving your health, or becoming more financially independent. Many people start strong but lose motivation when things get difficult. That is why discipline is more important than motivation, because motivation fades, but discipline keeps you going. When you make personal growth a daily habit, you start to see real, lasting changes in your life. A crucial part of personal growth is learning how to manage your mindset. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you will never succeed, or that you do not have what it takes, you are programming your mind for failure. But when you develop a growth mindset, you start to see challenges as opportunities, obstacles as lessons, and setbacks as temporary. You begin to believe in yourself and your ability to achieve great things. Changing your mindset does not happen overnight, but with consistency, self-awareness, and a commitment to positive thinking, you can transform the way you see yourself and your future. Investing in your personal growth means dedicating time to learning. Read books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, take courses, do whatever it takes to expand your knowledge and improve your skills. The most successful people never stop learning because they understand that knowledge is power. The more you learn, the more confident and capable you become. Personal development is a lifelong journey, and the more effort you put into it, the more rewarding your life will be. When you prioritize your personal growth, everything in your life starts to improve. Your relationships become healthier, your confidence increases, and your ability to handle challenges strengthens. You start to attract better opportunities because you are constantly evolving into the best version of yourself. The moment you decide to make personal growth your main focus, you take control of your future. You stop waiting for things to change and start creating the life you deserve. Setting boundaries is essential for maintaining your mental and emotional well-being. Without boundaries, people will take advantage of your kindness, drain your energy, and disrupt your peace. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear rejection, conflict, or being perceived as selfish. But the truth is, boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting yourself. When you do not establish clear limits, you end up overcommitting, feeling exhausted, and constantly putting others' needs before your own. Boundaries are necessary to create a balanced life where you feel respected, valued, and in control of your time and energy. One of the biggest misconceptions about boundaries is that they are a sign of weakness or selfishness. But in reality, boundaries are an act of self-respect. They show that you value yourself enough to protect your peace. People who struggle with boundaries often feel obligated to say yes to everything. They agree to things they do not want to do just to avoid disappointing others. But constantly saying yes when you really want to say no leads to resentment, burnout, and a loss of self-respect. The more you allow others to overstep your boundaries, the more they will continue to do so. People will treat you based on what you allow. If you do not set limits, they will assume they can take as much as they want from you without consequences. Setting boundaries starts with recognizing your own limits. You need to be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. This requires self-awareness and honesty. Pay attention to situations that leave you feeling drained, disrespected, or uncomfortable. If certain interactions make you feel undervalued, it is a sign that a boundary needs to be established. Many people ignore these signs because they do not want to create tension, but avoiding boundaries only leads to bigger problems in the long run. The more you tolerate, the worse things become. The sooner you establish clear limits, the sooner you can protect your energy and mental health. Communicating boundaries can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to pleasing others. But it is necessary if you want to take control of your life. You do not have to be rude or aggressive when setting boundaries. You can be firm while remaining respectful. The key is to be direct and clear. Instead of making excuses or over-explaining, simply state your boundary in a confident manner. For example, if someone constantly asks for your time but never respects your schedule, you can say, "I appreciate you reaching out, but I need to focus on my priorities right now. I won't be able to meet up this time." If someone speaks to you in a way that makes you uncomfortable, you can say, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way. I expect to be treated with respect." The more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes. Any toxic people will try to test your boundaries. They will push back, guilt trip you, or try to make you feel low or try for standing up for yourself. This is especially true if they are used to taking advantage of you. They might call you selfish, accuse you of changing, or act like the victim. but their reaction is not your responsibility. People who genuinely respect you will understand and honor your boundaries, even if they do not agree with them. Those who refuse to respect your limits are the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries in the past. Their resistance is a sign that you are making the right decision. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. Many people feel like they have to justify their decisions when they decline something. But no is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing yourself. If you do not want to do something, you have the right to decline without feeling guilty. The more you practice saying no, the more empowered you will feel. People who truly care about you will respect your decisions, and those who try to manipulate you into saying yes were never acting in your best interest. Boundaries also apply to how you allow yourself to be treated emotionally and mentally. If someone constantly disrespects you, criticizes you, or makes you feel small, you have the right to walk away. You are not obligated to maintain relationships that harm your self-esteem. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They are also about saying yes to yourself. When you set boundaries, you are choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over approval, and growth over stagnation. Maintaining boundaries requires consistency. People will test them, but you have to remain firm. If you give in once, they will assume your boundaries are flexible and try to flex them again. Standing your ground might be uncomfortable at first, but over time it will become second nature. The more you enforce your boundaries, the more you will attract people who genuinely respect and value you. You will also notice a change in how you feel more confident, more at peace, and more in control of your life. Boundaries are not a luxury, they are a necessity for anyone who wants to live a life of purpose, fulfillment, and inner strength. Learning to enjoy your own company is one of the most valuable skills you can develop in life. Too often, people associate solitude with loneliness, but they are not the same thing. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, a longing for connection, while solitude is a state of self-sufficiency, a peaceful acceptance of being alone without feeling lonely. Many people fear being alone because they have not yet learned how to be at peace with themselves. They rely on constant distractions, external validation, and the presence of others to feel complete. But true strength comes from within. And when you learn to enjoy your own company, you gain a level of independence and confidence that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Spending time alone allows you to connect with yourself on a deeper level. In a world full of noise, opinions, and expectations, it is easy to lose sight of who you are. When you are constantly surrounded by others, influenced by their thoughts and emotions, you may not even realize how much of yourself is shaped by external influences rather than your own true desires. Solitude gives you the space to reflect, to understand your own mind, and to discover what truly makes you happy. It helps you develop a sense of self-awareness that is impossible to achieve when you are always focused on other people. One of the biggest benefits of enjoying your own company is that it eliminates the need for approval from others. Many people struggle with insecurity because they place too much value on what others think of them. They constantly seek validation, fearing that being alone means they are not good enough. But when you are comfortable with yourself, you no longer need external reassurance. You begin to realize that your worth is not defined by your relationships or social status. You stop seeking happiness in others and start finding it within yourself. This self-reliance creates an unshakable confidence that no one can take away from you. Learning to enjoy your own company also allows you to pursue your interests without distractions. When you are alone, you have the freedom to explore your passions, develop new skills, and invest in personal growth. You do not have to compromise your time or energy for the sake of pleasing others. You can read, write, create, meditate, exercise, whatever brings you joy and fulfillment. The more time you spend doing things that nourish your soul, the more you grow as an individual. This growth not only benefits you, but also enhances your relationships with others, because when you are fulfilled and confident in yourself, you bring a stronger and more positive energy into every interaction. Another important aspect of enjoying your own company is learning how to silence the inner critic. Many people avoid solitude because they fear their own thoughts. When they are alone, negative self-talk takes over, filling their minds with doubt, regret, and insecurities. But running away from your thoughts only gives them more power. Instead of avoiding them, face them. Acknowledge them, challenge them, and replace them with positive affirmations. The more you practice self-love and self-acceptance, the less power negativity will have over you. Over time, solitude becomes a place of peace rather than discomfort. Being comfortable alone also makes you more selective about the people you allow into your life. When you rely on others for entertainment, validation, or emotional support, you may tolerate toxic relationships simply because you fear being alone. But when you truly enjoy your own company, you no longer settle for less than you deserve. You choose relationships based on quality, not out of desperation. You recognize that being alone is better than being in the wrong company. This mindset protects you from unhealthy connections and allows you to attract people who genuinely align with your values and respect your boundaries. Solitude also gives you a sense of freedom that is rare in today's fast-paced world. You are no longer dependent on others to make plans, to entertain you, or to fill your time. You learn to enjoy simple moments, watching a sunset, going for a walk, sitting in silence with your thoughts. You realize that happiness is not something you need to chase in external experiences, but something you can cultivate from within. This realization brings a deep sense of contentment and inner peace that no external factor can shake. The ability to enjoy your own company is not something that happens overnight. It requires practice, patience, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. At first, solitude may feel uncomfortable, especially if you have spent years relying on others for distraction and fulfillment. But the more you embrace it, the more you will discover the incredible power that comes with being truly comfortable with yourself. You will find that you are stronger, happier, and more confident than you ever imagined. You will no longer fear being alone because you will have learned the most important lesson of all, that you are enough, just as you are. Living a life of peace and fulfillment is a goal that many people aspire to, yet few truly achieve. The reason is simple. Most people spend too much time worrying about things that do not matter, surrounding themselves with toxic influences, and holding on to negativity that drains their energy. True peace comes when you make a conscious decision to let go of what does not serve you and focus on what truly matters. It is about creating a life that aligns with your values, protects your mental and emotional well-being, and allows you to wake up each day with a sense of purpose and contentment. One of the most important steps to living a life of peace is learning to let go of negativity. Holding on to anger, resentment, or past mistakes only keeps you stuck in a cycle of unhappiness. Many people waste years of their lives replaying painful memories, wishing things had been different, or holding grudges against those who wronged them. But the truth is, carrying that weight only hurts you. The past cannot be changed, and dwelling on it does nothing but rob you of the present. Letting go does not mean forgetting or excusing bad behavior. It means refusing to let past pain control your future. When you release the burdens of resentment and regret, you make space for peace, joy, and new opportunities. Another key to a peaceful and fulfilling life is protecting your energy. The people you allow into your life have a major impact on your happiness and overall well-being. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, gossip, drama, or people who drain you emotionally, it is impossible to maintain peace. Many people hold on to toxic relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of confrontation, or fear of change. But the reality is, allowing toxic people to remain in your life only brings chaos. Choosing to distance yourself from negativity is not selfish, it is necessary. When you surround yourself with positive, supportive, and uplifting individuals, your energy shifts, your mindset improves, and your life becomes lighter. A peaceful life also requires learning to be present. Many people struggle with anxiety because they are constantly worrying about the future, or they feel stuck in unhappiness because they are dwelling on the past. True peace is found in the present moment. When you focus on what is happening right now instead of stressing over things you cannot control, you gain a sense of clarity and calmness. Mindfulness, gratitude, and self-awareness all play a role in this process. When you learn to appreciate the little things, simple moments of joy, deep conversations, acts of kindness, you begin to experience life in a way that is fulfilling and meaningful. Letting go of the need for external validation is another crucial step. Many people live their lives based on the expectations of others, constantly seeking approval and trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for them. But the truth is, no matter what you do, Not everyone will approve of your choices. Trying to please everyone is a losing battle that leads to frustration and self-doubt. The only approval that truly matters is your own. When you stop seeking validation from others and start making decisions based on what truly makes you happy, you gain a sense of freedom and confidence that cannot be taken away. Another important aspect of a fulfilling life is prioritizing inner peace over temporary pleasures. Many people chase happiness in material things, relationships, or external achievements, thinking that once they reach a certain goal, they will finally feel satisfied. But true fulfillment does not come from external success, it comes from within. It is about finding joy in who you are, not just what you have or what you achieve. When you cultivate inner peace, you no longer rely on outside factors to make you happy. You become content with yourself, and that contentment attracts even more positivity into your life. Setting clear priorities is also essential. Many people feel overwhelmed and lost because they are trying to do everything at once, saying yes to things that do not align with their true purpose. A peaceful and fulfilling life requires clarity, knowing what truly matters to you and focusing on those things. When you stop wasting time on distractions and invest your energy into what truly brings you joy and fulfillment, everything starts to fall into place. Clarity eliminates stress, removes unnecessary burdens, and helps you stay focused on what truly matters. Forgiveness plays a huge role in achieving peace. Holding on to grudges or bitterness only poisons your own mind and heart. Many people think that forgiveness is about letting the other person off the hook, but in reality, it is about setting yourself free. When you choose to forgive, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace, you take back control of your emotions. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, it means choosing to move forward without carrying the weight of anger and resentment. A fulfilling life also requires self-care. Many people neglect their own needs, constantly putting others before themselves, thinking that self-care is selfish. But taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally is essential for a balanced life. When you prioritize your health, your peace of mind, and your well-being, you are able to show up as the best version of yourself in all areas of life. Self-care is not a luxury, it is a necessity for a life of fulfillment and happiness. The ultimate key to a peaceful and fulfilling life is self-acceptance. Many people spend years trying to change who they are, comparing themselves to others, or feeling like they are never good enough. But true peace comes when you embrace yourself fully, the good, the bad, the imperfect. When you stop trying to be someone else and start loving yourself as you are, life becomes easier, lighter, and more enjoyable. Self-acceptance leads to confidence, confidence leads to peace, and peace leads to true fulfillment.